The Indian feudalism. Now we are talking about the medieval history. We are going to discuss about the medieval history. దాంట్లో ఇండియన్ ఫ్యూడలిజం గురించి జస్ట్ this whole video is going to be about just brief description of about all the kings or the kingdoms who were present in the medieval India. So the first medieval history, if it consists of from 8th century AD to 18th AD, first 500 years were dominated by the all these Hindu kings. The second next 500 years is dominated by the Muslim kings. And then Indian feudalism. So it is an important economic system where primacy is given to the land and land related rights. It is an economic system, feudalism అనేది where primacy, so first importance is given to the land and land related rights. Then it is an economic system, but its implication is there in each sphere of life. It is an economic system, but దాని implications అనేది it is there in each sphere of life. So duty of the feudal lords towards the king. So duty of the feudal lords. So the duty of the feudal lords towards the kings were to bring gifts to the king and to the overlords, to bring the gifts for the kings and the overlords and be present at the court and provide king military support. So వాళ్ళు ఏదైనా సభలు పెట్టినప్పుడు they need to be present in the court and they need to give them military support. So whenever there is a war. So then political implications for the feudals. Then decline in the authority of the centralized kingship. So because of this ఏమైందంటే ఈ ఫ్యూడలిజం రావడం వల్ల డిక్లైన్ ఇన్ ది అథారిటీ ఆఫ్ ది centralized kingship or centralized administration had reduced. Then decline in number of troops as standing army. Decline in the number of troops as standing army. Then decline in centralized bureaucracy. Then rise of regional kingdoms and sub-infeudation. The rise of regional kingdoms or sub-infeudation. Then what are these are the political implications. Centralized kingship తగ్గిపోయింది, centralized bureaucracy తగ్గిపోయింది, number of troops as standing army తగ్గిపోయారు and regional kingdoms rise అయ్యాయి. Then economic implications వచ్చి decrease of trade and commerce, decline in the trade and commerce. Then localization of trade or the self-sufficient level of economy. Localization of the trade or they were maintaining the self-sufficient level of economy. Then decrease in the quality of or quantity of the coins. Decrease in the quality and quantity of the coins. So gold, then decline of the guilds. సో ఎకానమిక్ పరంగా ఫ్యూడలిజం ఎక్కువ అవడం వల్ల ఏం ఇంపాక్ట్ వచ్చింది, ట్రేడ్ అండ్ కామర్స్ తగ్గిపోయింది. సో దానివల్ల గిల్డ్స్ అనే వాళ్ళు తగ్గిపోయారు. బికాస్ ఆఫ్ దట్ క్వాలిటీ అండ్ క్వాంటిటీ ఆఫ్ ద కాయిన్స్ తగ్గిపోయింది. ఇంకా అవుటర్ ట్రేడ్ తగ్గింది కాబట్టి లోకలైజేషన్ ఆఫ్ ద ట్రేడ్ ఆర్ సెల్ఫ్ సఫిషియంట్ లెవెల్ ఆఫ్ ట్రేడ్ ఎకానమీ హ్యాడ్ స్టార్టెడ్. దెన్ సోషల్ ఇంప్లికేషన్స్ వచ్చి ఇంక్రీజ్ ఇన్ ద నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ కాస్ట్ అండ్ సబ్ కాస్ట్. ఇంక్రీజ్ ఇన్ ఎక్కువ మంది పీపుల్ ఉండడం వల్ల ప్రతి ఒక్కరూ అన్నిట్లోకి పార్టిసిపేట్ చేయడం వల్ల ప్రతి ఒక్కరిని సబ్ కాస్ట్ జాతీస్ అవన్నీ ఫామ్ అయ్యాయి. సో ఇంక్రీజ్ ఇన్ ద కాస్ట్ అండ్ ది సబ్ కాస్ట్. Then impetuous to judgmony system అనుకుంటారు. It gave impetus to Yajamani system. It was an economic system most notably found in the villages of India, in which one caste performed various functions for other castes, okay, and is received the gain or other goods in return. సో యజమాని సిస్టమ్ అంటే ఒక కాస్ట్ వాళ్ళు ఇట్ వాస్ ప్రివేలెంట్ ఇన్ మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది విలేజెస్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా అట్ దట్ టైమ్. సోషల్ ఇంప్లికేషన్స్ ఇవంతా కాస్ట్ అండ్ సబ్ కాస్ట్ పెరిగే, యజమాని సిస్టమ్ పెరిగింది. సో అప్పుడు మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద విలేజెస్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియాలో ఉండింది. సో ఇక్కడ ఏమంటే వన్ కాస్ట్ పీపుల్ మిగతా కాస్ట్ కోసం దే విల్ డూ వేరియస్ ఫంక్షన్స్ అండ్ ఇన్ రిటర్న్ దే విల్ రిసీవ్ ద గ్రెయిన్స్ అంటే ఫుడ్ గ్రెయిన్స్ ఆర్ ఎనీ అదర్ గూడ్స్ ఇన్ రిటర్న్. సో ఇట్ వాస్ అన్ ఆక్యుపేషనల్ డివిజన్ ఆఫ్ లేబర్. It was an occupational division of labor involving a system of role relationships that enabled the villages to be mostly self-sufficient. So ఆ విలేజెస్లో ఉన్న పనులన్నీ వాళ్ళే డిఫరెంట్ పీపుల్కి రోల్స్ ఇచ్చి సో అక్కడ ఉన్న వర్క్స్ అన్ని సెల్ఫ్ సఫిషియంట్ లెవెల్లో వాళ్ళే చేసుకునేవాళ్ళు. Then what was cultural implications? Growth of the regional languages and cultures. Growth of regional languages and cultures had grown because of this, and impetus to Bhakti movement. This gave an impetus to the Bhakti movement. Growth of regional languages and cultures. This gave impetus to Bhakti movement. How Indian feudalism differs from the European feudalism. Due to difference in the ecological conditions, that is long sunshine and the humped bull, there were few differences. So Vishti means forced labor. Vishti ante enti forced labor. The peasant tied to the land of the lord was limited in India. Peasant tied to the land of the lord was limited in India. Vishti or the peasant tied ante vaadu బంధించబడి ఉన్నాడు to the land, to that land owner and to the land. The forced labor Vishti was very much limited in India. Okay, then military feudalism, it develops at much later stages. Military feudalism develops only at much later stages. In India, there was no sharply defined class of feudal lords. In India, there were no sharply defined class of feudal lords. Now it is tripartite struggle or the early medieval period. So during the 8th century AD, there were three great powers in India, namely Palas in the east, Gurjara Pratiharas in the north, and Rashtrakutas in the Deccan. Okay, so another classification వచ్చి నార్దర్న్ కింగ్డమ్స్ వచ్చేసి గుర్జర ప్రతిహారాస్ అన్నాం కదా, దేవర్ 36 రాజ్పుట్ కింగ్డమ్స్ ఇన్ దట్ ఏరియా, అండ్ బీహార్ అండ్ బెంగాల్ వాజ్ రూల్డ్ బై పాలాస్ అండ్ సేనాస్. Palas and Sena, and the Deccan was ruled by Rashtrakutas and then the Kalyani Chalukyas. Then south was ruled by Cholas of Tanjore. Then all the this Palas, Gurjara Pratiharas and Rashtrakutas, they struggled for supremacy, and their desire was to possess Kannauj. Their desire was to possess the Kannauj. So this was the tripartite struggle between Palas in the east, Rashtrakutas in the Deccan, and Rajputs in the north or northwest. Actually, Gurjara Pratiharas. So medieval period dominated from 8th century AD to 18th century AD. For the first 500 years, it was dominated by the Hindu dynasties, and the later 500 years, it was dominated by the Muslim dynasties. Then analytically, it can be divided into medieval period can be divided into early medieval period, age of Delhi Sultanate, age of regional kingdoms, age of Mughal Empire and the Marathas. Then early medieval period, the time period was 750 AD to 1200 AD. 750 to 1200 AD. It was for nearly 350 years, 450 years. So this was the last phase of Hindu dynasties. This was the last phase of Hindu dynasties. The political map of India during this time had, in the north it was 36 Rajput kingdoms. The Rajput community was born in early medieval period, who were known for their bravery and courage and word. Bravery, their courage, and వాళ్ళ మాట ఇస్తే తప్పరు అనమాట. Bravery, their courage, and their word. Then there was no clarity of the birth of the Rajputs. For every 500 years, they were in power. For 500 years, for 500 years they were in power, and the next 500 years they served as vassals. Then the Rajputs are mythologically connected to many stories. Then some Rajputs, they claim themselves as Agnikula Kshatriyas. Some Rajputs, they claim themselves as Agnikula Kshatriyas, Suryavamshis and Chandravamshis. ఇందాక కూడా లాస్ట్ క్లాస్లో కూడా చదివాం సూర్యవంశీ డైనాస్టీకి ఎవరు చెందారు, చంద్రవంశీ డైనాస్టీకి ఎవరు చెందారని. సో ఈవెన్ రాజ్పుట్స్ ఆల్సో దే క్లెయిమ్ దెమ్సెల్వ్స్ యాజ్ అగ్నికుల క్షత్రియ సూర్యవంశీస్ అండ్ చంద్రవంశీస్. సో మెనీ హిస్టోరియన్స్ బిలీవ్ దట్ రాజ్పుట్స్ ఆర్ ద డిసెండెంట్స్ ఆఫ్ ది హాన్స్ ట్రైబ్ హూ మ్యారీడ్ ది లోకల్ నార్త్ ఇండియన్ విమెన్ని పెళ్లి చేసుకున్న హాన్స్ ట్రైబ్ వాళ్ళే రాజ్పుట్స్ అని చెప్తారు. దెన్ ఇన్ బెంగాల్ అండ్ బీహార్, it was Palas and Senas. Palas ruled for 350 years and Senas ruled for 100 years respectively. Then in Deccan it was ruled by the Rashtrakutas, and then later came Kalyani Chalukyas into power. The initial capital of Rashtrakutas was Ellora. The initial capital of Rashtrakutas was Ellora. In 200 years, they defeated Rajputs, Palas, and many other number of kingdoms. A number of times they defeated the other kingdoms. The capital was Ellora. All the Andhra kings, they became vassals of Rashtrakutas. Example, the Vengi Chalukyas, the Kakatiyas, etc. So they even defeated the Cholas of Tanjore. This Rashtrakutas, they even defeated the Cholas of Tanjore, and even Vengi Chalukyas and Kakatiyas were their vassals, Andhra kings. Then from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, there was no king or kingdom to stop the Rashtrakutas at that point of time. Okay, then in the south it was Cholas who ruled the south from Tanjore in South India for 315 years from Tanjore. Cholas who ruled the South India for 350 years from Tanjore. Then in the introduction of the Rashtrakutas. Rashtrakutas considered themselves as descendants of Satyaki. Descendants of Satyakiగా వాళ్ళని వాళ్ళు కన్సిడర్ చేసుకునే వాళ్ళు అనమాట Rashtrakutas. Historians differ on the question of their origins. It is evident from a few Chalukya kings' inscriptions that they were the vassals of Badami Chalukyas. Initially, they were descendants of Satyaki. They were initially Chalukya kings' inscriptions. They suggest that they were the vassals of Badami Chalukyas. Rashtrakutas, they say that they were of Kannada origin. Rashtrakutas were of Kannada origin, and their mother tongue was Kannada. Then their progenitor was Indravarma. Progenitor was Indravarma. But the real founder was Dantidurga. His initial capital was Ellora, and they later changed it. Then later they shifted it to Manyaketa. The name is so good. Ellora. Initially, Rashtrakutas' capital was Ellora, and then later they shifted it to Manyaketa. They nearly ruled for 200 years in Maharashtra and Karnataka. They ruled for 200 years in Maharashtra and Karnataka. So in the mid of the 8th century, Dantidurga, who was one of the chieftain of an ancient Rashtrakuta family, he fought his way to the front and he overthrew Kirtivarma to of the Badami Chalukyas, thus bringing an end to the main branch of Chalukyas. Then this was the beginning of the Chalukya Empire in the Deccan. The rock-cut caves were taken to celestial heights. The rock-cut caves and temples, they were taken to celestial heights in their reign. That is 8th and 9th century AD. It was taken to celestial heights. They built the best rock-cut temples in the world. They built the best rock-cut temples in the world. Then after 9th century AD, after 9th century CE, after 9th century AD, wherein India rock-cut caves are seen. అంటే after 9th century AD తర్వాత ఇంకెక్కడ ఇండియాలో రాక్-కట్ కేవ్స్ కనిపించలేదంటున్నారా ఏమో. దెన్ ఎల్లోరా వాళ్ళ క్యాపిటల్ కదా, ఇట్ హ్యాస్ గాట్ 30 caves, okay, which is a center of multi religions. Ellora has got 30 caves, and Ellora is the center for multi religions like Buddhist, Jains, Shaivism and Vaishnavites, etc. Then Kannada literature also, it flourished during this period. Kannada literature, it also flourished during this period because they were of Kannada origin annar kada. Then Rashtrakuta emperors were the kings were Dantidurga. First one was Dantidurga, then second one was Krishna 1, then Govinda 2, Dhruvadhara Varsha, Govinda 3, Amoga Varsha. then Krishna 2, Indra 3, Amogha Varsha 2, Govinda 4, Amogha Varsha 3, Krishna 3, Kottika Amogha Varsha, Karka 2, Indra 4. So the first important so at its zenith, the kingdom included the whole of Karnataka and some parts of the neighboring states. So Rashtrakuta word ante, the term Rashtrakuta means they are the designated, Rashtram ante country, Kutas ante chieftains, countries chieftains అని అర్థం. సో they were Rashtrakutas means they are designated officers in charge of the territorial divisions called as Rashtras. They are the important designated officers who are in charge of the territorial division called as Rashtra. So they were feudatories under the Chalukyas of Badami. Independent Rashtrakuta dynasty was founded by Dantidurga in the year 752 AD after defeating the last Badami Chalukya ruler Kirtivarman II. Then as Dantidurga, he died childless. His uncle Krishna I, he put an end to the Badami Chalukyan rule and officially declared as a sovereign power. So he died childless, Dantidurga. So his uncle Krishna I, he put an end to the Badami Chalukya's rule and he officially declared Rashtrakutas as a sovereign power. So so the first important king was Dantidurga from 753 to 56. So he was a feudatory of Badami Chalukyas. Then he defeated Kirtivarman II of Badami Chalukyas and established the empire. He maintained cordial relations with the Pallavas. So Dantidurga, he occupied all the territories between the Ganga and the Vima river. Godavari. He occupied all the territories between the Godavari and the Vima. Godavari river and the Vima river మధ్యలో ఉన్న టెరిటరీస్ అన్నీ ఆక్యుపై చేశాడు. He is said to have conquered Kalinga అంటే Orissa, Kosala is on the east, Kanchi, Kosala, Kalinga, Kosala, Kanchi, then Malwa and Latas of Gujarat, Malwa plateaus, and he occupied Maharashtra. He occupied Maharashtra by defeating the Badami Chalukya king Kirtivarman II, and he made Ellora as his capital, and he defeated the Karnatbala of Badami Chalukya. అదే కర్ణాటబాల వచ్చి కీర్తివర్మన్ II పేరే. కర్ణాటబాల is name of Kirtivarman II. He also defeated the kings of Latas of Gujarat and Malwas, Kalingas, Nagas, and he assumed the title as Rajadi Raja. Dantidurga assumed the title of Rajadi Raja. He built two cave temples at Ellora. Then Dashavatara temple and Ravanakai temple. Dashavatara temple and Ravanakai temple. The Ravanakai temple, which is also called as Ravana's cave. Okay, ఒకటేమో దశావతార టెంపుల్, ఇంకొకటేమో రావణాస్ కేవ్, Ravanakai temple. So here we see Ravana is sculpted on the walls where 10-headed Ravana is seen lifting the mountain on which Shiva and Parvati stay. అంటే Ravanakai temple or Ravana's caveలో ఏం చూస్తామంటే ఒక పెద్ద రావణుడి స్కల్ప్చర్, ఇట్ ఈస్ స్కల్ప్టెడ్ ఆన్ ది వాల్స్. ఓకే, అండ్ హీ హ్యాస్ గాట్ 10 heads. ఆ 10 heads పైన కైలాస పర్వతాన్ని ఆయన ఎత్తి ఉంటాడంట. ఆ స్కల్ప్చర్ ఉందంట అక్కడ ఎల్లోరాలో. దెన్ ఎల్లోరాలో ఉంది దశావతార టెంపుల్. ఇట్ పోర్ట్రేస్ లార్డ్ విష్ణు కిల్లింగ్ హిరణ్యకశప. కిల్లింగ్ హిరణ్యకశప అని దశావతార టెంపుల్ పోర్ట్రే చేస్తుంది. ఈవెన్ దిస్ ఇస్ ఇన్ ఎల్లోరా. సో నరసింహ అవతారం. దెన్ హీ ఇష్యూడ్ ఎల్లోరా అండ్ Samamgad inscriptions. Then he issued the Ellora and Samamgad inscriptions. Who Dantidurga married his daughter Reva to a Pallava king Nandivarman. He married his daughter Reva to a Pallava king Nandivarman. Thus he had cordial relationships with the Pallavas. Then just after occupying Vatapi వచ్చి Badami. Just after occupying Vatapi, he also carried out several conquests but became unpopular very soon and was disposed by his uncle Krishna, and he was deposed అది disposed కాదు, deposed అంటే థ్రోన్ నుంచి కిందకి లాగేయడం. And first when he occupied and he occupying Vatapi, he carried out several conquests, but after he became unpopular very soon and he was deposed by his uncle Krishna I. Then comes Krishna I in 756 AD. Krishna I succeeded Dantidurga I. He is known for completing the establishment of the Rashtrakuta supremacy over the domination of the Chalukyas. ఇందాకే చెప్పాం. సో అతన్ని దింపేసి దంతిదుర్గాన్ని దింపేసి కృష్ణ వన్ హీ హ్యాడ్ లాస్ట్ ఉన్న లాస్ట్ ఇంకెవరైతే మిగులున్నారో బదామి చాళుక్యాస్ యొక్క రూల్ని సబ్జుగేట్ చేసి దెన్